Hey guys, on this clip we're going to be doing a spark plug removal and installation on a 3.3 liter V6 2004 Nissan Xterra. The tools that you need to do this job are going to be the appropriate spark plug removal socket, spark plugs. I've got these auto lights. Since I'm doing a V6, I'm going to have 6 spark plugs I'm going to be changing. Spark plug boot removal tool, should you need it. Some swivel sockets, just in case. With the V6, sometimes that cylinder on the back there can be kind of hard to get to. Extensions, wrench. Some people use a rubber hose that fits tightly around the spark plug to get the initial thread started. That helps to not strip it. Some electrical tape, just to tape up the socket to the extension that you use so you don't lose it and have it pop off. And then I always have some motor oil that I put around the threads just to help them go in smooth. Some people use anti-seize. And then you're going to want to know the spark plug gap setting that you are supposed to use for this this vehicle. And so on a 2004 Nissan Xterra 3.3 liter V6, the gap is going to be 0.039 to 0.043 inches. And that can be found by using a gap installation, well, I guess just a gapping tool. And so on there you can do inches on the front side, and then some vehicles use a different millimeter size instead of inches, and so those are on the back side. So I'll show you guys how to use that when we gap these spark plugs, and yeah, we'll get started. Alright, so this is the vehicle that we'll be getting work done on, and first thing we want to do is remove this negative cable. So using a 10mm socket, you can just loosen that and pop it off. That's just for safe measure. And then we'll look at where the spark plugs are. You've got, we'll start with the distributor here. So you've got 6 cables running from the distributor to the various spark plugs. The number 1, we'll just start with number 1 and work backwards, is going to be this right here. And so that boot sits right down in there. And so we're going to twist and pull that boot. Never pull in the actual wire, because you'll potentially damage the wire that way, so always pull in the boot. But twist and then pull, and you'll pop off those boots. I'm actually going to take my air compressor and blow some of the dirt out here so we don't get any dirt down into the actual engine itself when we remove the boots. So let me get that done first, and we'll then gap the spark plugs. Alright guys, so to properly gap a spark plug, you're going to need your gapping tool, and the spark plug, and your specifications as to what you need. So our specifications are 0.039 to 0.043. So on my spark plug gapping tool, we'll find 0.043, which is the maximum right there. So I'm going to do probably 0.04 on all of these. And see, you take, you put it on, and you slowly move up to right there. Now you see that that's 0.04, and you pull it off. You do that for every single one of these. So we'll do this one more time. So you take that little gap there, pull it back so it's in focus, and that's what you need to be at 0.04. Alright, so take the gapping tool, find where you want to be, place it, and slowly move up, pull off. Alright, the next thing we're going to want to do is find the right socket. So I've got a set of 3 here. And so I'm going to try the smallest one first, which I am positive it is. Fit it inside. Sure enough, that's it. So I'll use this one. And these socket tools are kind of cool because, let me turn on the light here. They have like a rubber grommet inside there, where the end of the spark plug sits in there and gives it a little cushion to help protect it as you pull out. Now also note that there is a crushable washer on here, and the crushable washer has a wide side and a skinny side. You want that wide side to be facing the engine and the skinny side to be facing the outside of the spark plug. Alright, so now I've taken my socket that I'm going to use. I've taken electrical tape and taped it to the extension that I'm going to use to pull these out, just so that the socket and the extension don't become separated in the process. Alright, so the next step is finding your distributor and starting with your number 1 cable and popping that cable off the distributor. And do this one at a time. So pop that cable off, remove the spark plug, replace the spark plug, replace the boot, and then replace this, and then move on to the next one, and so on and so forth. Alright, so I just removed the first boot, and the boot looks like this. It's a long cylindrical shape, and this end fits into the spark plug, which means its connection. And yeah, so you just kind of twist and pop out. On this next step, you're going to take your extension with the socket on it, and you're going to fit it down into the hole where the spark plug is. Ensure that it's tight on there. Then you're going to take your wrench, put it on top of your extension. Let me get a little. And you are going to loosen it like so. Usually after I get it loosened, I take that off and just loosen the extension by hand. And once you get it free, the old spark plug will remain in the socket, and you'll be able to remove that, and then we can get on to replacing the socket. Alright, so for this next bit, I'm going to take the new spark plug and I'm going to put just a very light amount of unused engine oil on the threads, just to help it thread into the engine easier. then put my spark plug socket back onto it. And then put it down into the hole. Slowly turn. And go kind of slow on this part because you do not want to cross thread your spark plug, because then you're going to have to either tap and die it or get a Healy coil, and that is just a nightmare. So I turn these in by hand as much as I can before I get a wrench on there. And then I tighten it down. And now we'll check the torque specification, and we'll do that on the next slide. Alright, so the torque specification for this vehicle is 14 to 22 foot-pounds for a spark plug. So I am going to put my torque wrench on there. I've got it set to 22. I'm just going to slowly Alright, and it's in there. Just repeat this process for all the others. Then I'll show you some techniques to do for the hard to get spark plugs, like number 6. Before you move on to the next one, you're going to want to replace your spark plug boot, as you're going to do this one at a time. And again, for tightening it, it's just going to be like how you loosened it. It's just kind of twisting motion just to get it seated. Alright guys, so you should be able to get through 5 of these spark plugs with without any problems. You do have a spark plug right here where the boot is a harder plastic than the rubber boot on all the others. Same with that boot right there. Now you see the number 6 wire. This one goes all the way back behind the engine. And let me tell you, that one is a pain in the rear. So I anticipated that pain and picked up a pair of boot pullers, and I had to bend those in different directions to try to get back there. That didn't work very well. So what I did was, there's these lines right here, and they're attached to a bracket which holds them in. Bring the camera in a little closer. So that hole right there. So I disconnected those 2 brackets so that these hoses, these metal hoses, I could move a little more freely. And then I just got back behind the engine with my hand, stuck it behind here, behind these wires, found that boot, and just twisted as much as I could while pulling out, and that popped the boot free. Now, as you can see with my gloves, the gloves didn't withstand the tight space back there. So it's tight, it's going to be difficult, but it can be done. So this last plug would have been next to impossible if I didn't have 2 elbow joints to get behind the engine at the right angle to pop this last one out. That was a pretty much a 20-minute ordeal. What helped me out was having this mirror with a light on it. So now we'll try to get her back in. I might use this rubber hose to get it threaded properly, and yeah, we'll see what works.